Hi, welcome, and thank you for joining us. This video is a collaboration between the Rhode Island Department of Education and the CEEDAR Center. The purpose of today's video is to provide support for Rhode Island education preparation providers as they submit documentation to meet the requirements of the Rhode Island Right to Read Act. My name is Jennifer Greer, and I work for the CEEDAR Center, an educational grant funded by OSEP and housed at the University of Florida. And I'm joined today by our great colleagues from the Rhode Island Department of Education, Kristen Ray and Colleen O'Brien. Thank you both for your time today. And I'm going to hand it right on over to you.
Thanks, Jennifer. So we completed a scan of all Ed Prep programs in Rhode Island and found that there are 47 programs that require proficiency and 82 programs that require awareness in the science of reading and structured literacy instruction for candidates. The great news is that all 82 programs requiring awareness have submitted and had their applications demonstrating awareness approved. So as you know, EPPs have been asked to submit documentation and evidence for each course that teaches concepts related to the science of reading and structured literacy. The documentation should describe how each course meets and assesses components of the 4 competencies. And in addition, we've asked you to submit a course matrix that outlines which courses are attached to which programs. We've made each of you a Google Drive folder where you've been able to access resources and drop in your forms and any other necessary resources for to review.
So when the review team jumps in to be able to complete a review of a program, they enter into the hub or the folder in which your EPP has submitted all of your documentation. The team then takes a review of each one of the competencies that have been fleshed out into components and/or concepts, and we take a look at how it is that the component is being demonstrated within the coursework. Oftentimes, this takes the form of a syllabi that is submitted to us. And it is extremely helpful for us to have links to your PowerPoints, your articles that you're reading, even videos that are being shown. I know some folks are using a podcast that may or may not be out there. That's quite popular happening right now. But those components are all super helpful for the review team to get a story or understand the concepts that are being conveyed throughout all the coursework. I know at times some folks have provided us which slide numbers within the PowerPoints. That is extremely helpful for the review team to be able to go in. We have found the more direction that you are able to provide the review team, the fewer questions that the review team has for you in as far as feedback is concerned. So the big key component that we would strongly suggest is either hyperlinking and inserting a link to the documents in order to demonstrate the evidence for the component, or including it within the support documents. The team will go through and look at each one of the components and provide feedback to you. One example that I am going to explain that or share that I think is important is that since we are talking about the science of reading and structured literacy to meet the proficiency expectations, is that we know that there's analytic and synthetic phonics instruction that does occur. And so we know that there are some folks that have included both within their coursework, and I think it's important for us just to be able to have it clear to the reviewers that how it is that you are presenting that material to your students so they understand that it is indeed, in fact, aligned to the science of reading and structured literacy, because that's something that has kind of come up already with some of the feedback that we've had to provide to folks in our initial reviews of what's occurring within there. Now, should you receive feedback from us that says that you're missing a component, we are strongly recommending that you take a look at the CEEDAR review or the resource tool that is available for you, because there's a plethora of resources that you can use in order to enhance the coursework in which it is that you are submitting for. So the other component that is super helpful for the review team is the course matrix. And the course matrix is one in which we ask that you identify by the program and then list each one of the courses by name that is included within that particular program. The review team then goes ahead and will review different courses that are out there. And the one example that I'm going to provide is that on this example that's here, you will see that EDUC 5130 is actually within all three programs. So the review team will actually review that course just once, and then they'll be able to move on to the other coursework. And that's in order to help ensure that we know where within the course series it is that students are obtaining the required components of the law.
So we gave the following template to guide EPPs in developing a timeline to ensure that all May 2025 graduates will be prepared to meet this expectation and be eligible to obtain a teaching license and a position in the state of Rhode Island. So we asked that EPPs fill out the table outlining their plan for the next 4 semesters, and we asked them to submit it to me with their September 30th submission. So if you haven't been able to do that or have any questions about that, please feel free to reach out to me for additional help in that. If you need to contact either myself or Colleen, you can use the following contact information. And finally, this is the most up-to-date timeline regarding requirements for the right to redact. So as I said, September 30th was the due date for the last round of revisions. Now we will provide feedback to you by November 1st. We ask that the next round of revisions are submitted to us by December 22nd. And then by February 1st, one of the following things will happen. Either you'll receive full approval, or we will contact you to schedule a meeting in order to develop an action plan to meet the law's expectations. By May 2024, every program needs to have an approved plan in place. Otherwise, you'll be required to communicate to candidates who are graduating in May 2025 that they are not going to graduate meeting the expectations of the law. By fall 2024, all EPPs must post a description of how their programs prepare teachers to meet the requirements of the law on their website. If, again, no approved plan is in place, you must post that on your website that people will not meet the requirements. By May 2025, the approval status of any program that does not meet the expectations of the law by preparing candidates to graduate proficient will be reviewed and may be closed to future candidates. Again, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to Colleen or myself. We're happy to support you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much again to Kristen and Colleen for joining us today and providing this super helpful information. We hope this video has been helpful for you. And please, we encourage you to share the video with your colleagues. And also, just like Kristen said, if you have any questions, reach out to one of us at the contact information that's provided there. Thanks so much for your time again, and take care.